live stream. Today, I want to chat with you about how to actually find your purpose together in your marriage, how to come together as a couple in your marriage, and ultimately thrive in your marriage with purpose at the core of it. Awesome. So, if you have questions, I have questions for you. Please feel free to enter your questions in the chat, and we'll take a look at those together. So, first thing I want to do, I'm going to share my screen here and give you, if you haven't gotten this yet, I'm going to give you the place where you can get your workbook. So please feel free to download that at servant.tool/marriage workshop. And that's a workbook that we're going to use as we walk through this conversation together. So again, this is just a conversation. I want to share with you the things that we've learned, my wife and I have learned over the last 20 years in terms of how have we come together to put purpose at the center of all that we do, and in that understand, give you some pointers, give you some wisdom that we've learned over the years on how that's helped us as a couple, how that's helped us as parents of 10 children. Just come together. So again, if you have questions, feel free to shoot them out. So this is my wife, Shelly. She would be here on this call with us, but as I shared, we have 10 kids, and so she's managing and managing the house at the moment. And yeah, as our kids get a little bit older, then she'll be able to be here. But I thought I'd jump on and just start this conversation with you and start it rolling. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us on anything that I cover today. We'd be happy to chat with you about that. So we have been doing this work for the last 19 years together, helping families and individuals and couples and companies and even a few communities along the way to actually understand why they're here and align everything that they're doing to fulfill on that so that they can ultimately serve everywhere that they're being called to serve, in their communities, in their families, in their relationships, everywhere they are. All right, so that's Shelly, and if you interact with us outside of this live stream, you'll be able to meet her and chat with her. So here's one of the things that I want to share with you, and this is in the first part of the workbook, and that is this. We have been told a lie. We've been told that marriage is a compromise. So everything that we're going to walk through together today is going to unpack that lie and actually share the truth on the flip side, which is simply marriage is not a compromise. And here's why. One, I'm a man of faith. We're people of faith. The Bible clearly says that it's two people coming together to be one flesh in a marriage. To leave your mother and your father and to come together into a relationship, a marriage that is two people coming into one flesh. That is not compromise. I want you to imagine this. If you or your spouse come together in your marriage and you are compromising in any way, you are robbing yourself of the opportunity, and you can't actually ever become one flesh because it requires both of us to come together with all of us uncompromised to step into that relationship together in order to be all that we can possibly be together. So this I want to share with you today, and this is what we call the thrivability model. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a drink of water. This is the thrivability model. Starts at me, moves to we, and ends with us. So as you know, in your relationship, it's two me's that simply come together to become we. And that's where most relationships stay, is in this place of me and we. But the goal is to actually get to this place where we can stand in us. And here's some of the core differences that we've noted over the years and some of the traps that we've noted we've fallen into and others have fallen into that we've worked with over the years. So first of all, me. Me is very exclusive. It's me versus you, me versus we, me versus whoever. Me, we have this self-centered focus of what's good for me, what I want, and we come into the relationship with that. And the problem is we've been told, as I shared, that we have to compromise on me, and in doing that, we lose this ability to actually understand, well, what is it that we actually need to let go of to come into a relationship? Or what is it that is a core to us that we can't let go of and we can't compromise on? So that gets confronted when you step into a relationship, because the drive is to move from me to we. So the the intention here is that we come together as two me's and we're moving together to become we. Well, in that, what happens a lot of times is we get caught in what we like to call the me we trap. You'll know you're in the me we trap simply because you'll hear yourself saying things like, this isn't working for me. This marriage is not a reflection of me. I've had to give up pieces of myself in order to be in this marriage. And we all know that as soon as that starts to happen, things start to fall apart. Things start to go off the rails. And our marriage is at risk. And becoming that one flesh is at risk. That's the challenge of any relationship, is how do you come together to get to this place of us? So what happens in me and we is, again, we is this exclusive, coming from this place of exclusivity, where, we come together and we start saying things like, well, this is how we do it. This is how we roll. This is how, we interact, and we exclude other people from that. That again pulls us into this me we trap. We are at risk of falling back into, now this isn't working for me, or this isn't reflecting me. This isn't a reflection of who we are together. And what happens is we know that we have to be something together. And so we start to fall into this pattern of making up an identity of who we are together, not really understanding that we already have an identity. And that's driving us towards being us, because us is this place of complete inclusivity. It's inclusive. You can stand in us and invite people into us in a very healthy way, and you're not threatened by them coming in or moving out of that relationship. But when we stand in me and we feel like we have to protect ourselves and protect who we are. And so we put up these boundaries and people can't get in, and that starts to break down the relationship, because then we're solely dependent upon one another as opposed to being together in society, in relationship, in the community in which we live. And that is where we move into us. So we need to move from we to me to we, and ultimately get into this place of us where me and we are actually taken care of. So in us, you're taken care of. I'm taken care of. Together, we're taken care of in that, because we're standing in this place of us. All right. So that's the thrivability model. We want to get to this place where we end up in us. And as we stand in us, we realize that there's things that are about each of us as individuals we no longer want to be. We no longer need to be. We no longer want to do. And so we can let that go to continue to move into us. And same thing with we. There's things that we've created, in terms of what we think we should be. We've brought things into our relationships that we think that we need to be. And as we come from this focus of us, we can actually take a look at those things and go, we actually don't need to even be like that. And that's stopping us in our own marriage and stopping us from actually interacting as a couple and ultimately as a family. Because you can imagine if, as you're standing in us, that involves your whole entire family, your children underneath you. So ultimately, that's the goal. That's the invitation. That's the challenge. So I want to give you some tools to help you move from me to we into us and not get stuck in this me we trap as you live out your marriage side by side. Awesome. So here's one of the first key things. We've been taught a lie, and this particular lie has come against each and every one of us. We've all been taught it. You may even, as I share it, you may even remember who taught this to you. But the key is, this is a lie. We've all been told that our purpose is what we do. And this is vital in terms of your marriage and how to thrive in your marriage, because we do a lot of what? We do a lot of what's within our marriage. There's a lot of things that we do within our marriage. And we even say, and even in our language, we ask this question, why do you love each other? And then we answer that question with what we love about them, what we love about each other, what we don't like about each other. That's all focused on what? That has to be aligned with this truth. The truth is, your purpose is why you're here. The reason you are together is a why, not a what. There's a very particular reason that you're here together. And that's a why, not a what. It makes complete sense when you break it down like that. What you are together has to be aligned with why you're here together, or you're going to be out of integrity to your own relationship. And that's when things start to fall apart. That's when dysfunction starts to set in. That's where the me, we trap and those fights against, this isn't working for me. That's where they start. And that's where blame is laid, and all of that tears apart a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship happens simply because we don't understand why we're here. We don't understand that there's a very particular purpose in why we're here. We don't know even how to express that or even get to that. So I want to give you some tools today to help you figure out why you're here together. And it starts with this question. How many needs do you think you meet in a day in each other's lives? How many needs do you think you meet in a day? So if you downloaded the workbook, just feel free to write that down. 1, 5, 10, 100. How many needs do you meet in each other's life? So here's the lie in that. We feel that we have to meet many needs for people. So all of us have been in this particular conversation probably more often than we care to admit. But the conversation, goes like this, you're not meeting my needs, or I need this from you, or I need that from you. And those are legitimate requests. But the interesting thing about this is that we can't meet many needs for people, including our spouse. There's so much stuff that we can do, but there are so much needs that each of us have as individuals that it's unrealistic to place that burden on another person because it breaks it down. And what we've noted over the years is this, that we meet one need in each other that shows up in so many different ways. And as we unpack that need today for you, you're going to start to see that and understand that there is actually one need that your spouse meets in your life and you meet in their life that is a core need that you had. And I'm going to share, sort of examples of that as we go through this conversation. But I need you to understand this, that you meet one need that shows up in many different ways, not many needs that show up in many different ways in your spouse. Okay? So that's key. Next, let's take a look at this. How would you describe yourself? How would your spouse describe you? 2 or 3 things that you'd say about yourself, they'd say about you. Just in your notebook, you want to write those down. And the key thing about this is that these are actually labels that we give ourselves, that other people have given to us, that we give to other people. And there's nothing wrong with labels. But the problem comes in is that we actually use those labels to define who we are. So there's going to be things that you say about yourself or about each other that those are fine because labels are meant to explain something about us. And in that, once you understand that and stop taking those labels and defining who you are by those labels, you get to see and lay those labels out and go, okay, which ones are actually true about me and which ones are just not? Which ones have I picked up? Which labels have other people given to me that just aren't true about me and true about us as a couple in our marriage? There's going to be labels that we have as individuals. There's going to be labels that we have as a couple. Which ones actually explain something true about you and which ones don't? You can let go of the ones that don't and embrace the ones that actually do. Because labels do not define who you are. You are defined by why you're here. Who you are is because of why you're here. Who you are as a couple is because of why you're here together. It's really that simple. And in that, as you understand that, you can see that compromising on who you are actually stops you from being able to, 1, fulfill your purpose as an individual, but also fulfill your purpose as a couple, as a family. Makes sense, right? So who you are is defined by why you're here, not the labels that we give each other or that we give ourselves. Those simply just explain something about us, which again can be really, really helpful, or they can get in our way and hinder us. All right? Perfect. So as we walk through this conversation, I want to share with you that there is an enemy in this conversation. There's something coming against you from being able to thrive in your marriage. And it's this: doubt. Doubt is the enemy. Doubt is different than uncertainty. You can be uncertain about something and you can step into that and find certainty within it. But doubt, often I was taught as a young guy, to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm here to tell you that there's no benefit to doubt. You can allow people to be uncertain. You can be uncertain, totally different than doubting. Doubting, there's no good in doubt. Doubt is intended to stop you in your tracks and stop you from moving forward. Uncertainty, totally fine. It's going to be doubt that gets in between you moving from me, we, and into us. It's going to be doubt that stops you from being able to meet that one need that's very specific that you're there to meet in each other's life. It's going to be doubt that comes against you as a couple meeting a need in your family, in your friends, in the community and where you live. It's going to be doubt from within yourself, doubt, meaning I can't actually do this. I won't do this. I don't have what I need to be able to do this. We don't have what we need. Or others doubting you, going, basically showing up like this. Who do you think you are? That's how doubt sounds in our life. Who do you think you are? And often what happens is we get into this place of answering doubt with, well, who do you think you are? So you can imagine a fight that you have or a disagreement that you have with your spouse. That's definitely going to be a part of that. Who do you think you are? And they're thinking, well, who do you think you are? As soon as we get into that place, we're caught in that me-we trap and we jump into arrogance. As you know, when two people are coming from this place of arrogance and protection and, putting up walls, it's not going to go well, right? That's where marriage and the thrivability of marriage starts to break down. And if you continue in that path, we all know it can destroy your marriage, can destroy your relationship, can destroy you coming together as one flesh. So if you find yourself saying, well, who do you think you are? And responding with, well, who do you think you are? You're both standing in this place of arrogance. And we don't need to stand there. As long as we understand why we're together, why each other is in each other's life, all of this starts to fade away. Doubt loses power. Arrogance, you don't need to use it as a shield because there's nothing to fight over. All right? So I want to walk you through this, that as we clarify your purpose, I'm going to give you some tools to clarify your purpose as an individual and your purpose as a couple, why you're together. And in that, we're going to transform your marriage in ways that you can't even imagine. There's been so much transformation in our marriage over the years as we've employed exactly what I'm going to share with you today. All right. So, and I know the same thing is going to happen for you as you employ what I'm going to share with you, because it's what happens. It's what's happened in the couples that we've shared this with and served over the last 19, 20 years. All of this comes from our marriage framework. So this is the first piece of the marriage framework that I want to share with you today. And I'm going to give you access and let you know how you can get access to the full marriage framework if you're interested to go through that together. Awesome. So first question, why clarify your purpose now? Why clarify why you're together now? Okay, just take some time, write down those notes. The reason that's important is because this is what you're going to come back to. If you get stuck, if things get hard as you work through these next questions, this is the reason why you're doing this now. All right? So why clarify your purpose together now? And again, there's no right answer, but there is a right answer for you and for your spouse. Next question is, well, where do you actually want to fulfill your purpose? You can answer this as yourself. Where, in what relationships do you want to fulfill your purpose as an individual? And where as a couple do you want to fulfill your purpose together? Okay, take some time, Where do you want to fulfill your purpose? I actually use this question quite often to help me focus on what relationships, in terms of my faith, in what relationships God is actually leading me towards to be able to fulfill my purpose in. And I can honestly say, every single day, my wife Shelley is on that list, and I hope and pray that that's the same for you, because that is the first relationship, the intimate relationship, where we actually get to fulfill our purpose as individuals, and then within our family, with our children, as you have children, that as a couple, that's the next layer that you get to fulfill your purpose together as a couple within your family, within your friends, within your community. Yeah, so that's basically how this works. So where do you want to fulfill your purpose as an individual? And where do you want to fulfill your purpose together as a couple? What relationships that you have come to mind? Just write those down. All right. Now, next piece is, as I shared, you have one need that shows up in many different ways that you are here to help answer. So let's dig into that now. So what we want to do is we want to answer this question together. What need do you recognize in others? What need do you recognize in others? So standing in yourself, look out to all the other people. Look to your spouse. Look at all the other people that you interact with on a daily basis. So start with yourself first, and this exact same exercise can go for you as a couple as well. What need do you recognize in others? And the key is you want to answer that in one word. One word. So you want to get that down. So it's going to be things like purpose and vision and compassion and wisdom and understanding and truth, joy, things like that. What need do you recognize in others? So look at it for yourself. Each of you go through that exercise. What need do you recognize in others in a word? And then ask yourself, stand as a couple, look out to all those that you interact as a couple with as a couple. And if you have children, look to your children. What need do you recognize as a couple in all of those places? Okay, awesome. I should say that if you need some help in walking through this, you can always reach out to us. I'm going to give you a way to do that at the end. And as we walk through this, just know that we're here to help, because as I understand, this isn't necessarily easy. And there is a very simple way to have this conversation together, basically using these questions and this information to walk through that. But if you need some help to dig into this and you want to confirm your answers, we're here to help you do that. Okay? Awesome. So the key in this is you don't want to edit. Just write down the words that come to you. And eventually what happens is it's going to be like this experience of digging down. So imagine the pen or the keyboard that you're using to fill in your workbook is like a shovel. You're going to use that shovel to dig down until you hit that bedrock, right? And it's going to be that, that feeling of clink, I hit on solid ground. Once you hit the word, you're going to know it. So just trust that. So just write down the words. If a phrase comes, like as an example, clear sense of purpose. I recognize that people need a clear sense of purpose. You can sum that up with the word purpose as an example. So just keep digging, simplifying until you hit on the one word that clearly defines the need that you recognize in others as an individual and as a couple. Okay? Awesome. So what need do you recognize in others in a word? Then this next question is, well, what do you bring to answer that need? And again, you want to answer that in one word. Okay, same exercise. You're going to dig down until you find the one word that describes the answer that you bring to sorry, let me go back. You're going to dig down until you discover the one word that describes the answer you bring to meet that need in one word. That's what I was going to say the first time. But for some reason, I got mixed up. So what do you bring to answer that need in one word? Same exercise. Again, things like compassion, understanding, wisdom, truth, joy, protection, revelation. What are the things that you bring? What is the one thing that you bring to help answer that need that you recognize in others? So either answer that question as an individual, answer that question as a couple. So I'm going to give you some examples here. First, I recognize a need for purpose, and I bring revelation to help answer that need. So everywhere I go, everyone I think about, everyone I've ever met needs purpose. It's something I just recognize about them. And I bring revelation. And that revelation shows up in questions like this, conversations like this. But all of those are tools that I use. So all the what's that I use in life all have to bring revelation, where I fail at helping you meet that need for purpose in your life. Okay, here's another example. My wife, Shelly, if she was here, she'd tell you that she sees a need for joy. And she brings protection to help answer that need. Okay, we here at Servant Development and our family, what we see a need for transformation. Everywhere we go as a family, we see a need for transformation. We see all these areas where people just need to transform who they are, why they're here, what they're doing. And we bring wisdom, all the wisdom that we've gained over the years, of the wisdom that we will continue to gain over our years. We bring that and bring that into a form that's actually consumable so that you can walk through it. We normally put those into frameworks, and that wisdom helps you get the transformation that you need. Okay, so what need do you recognize in others, and what do you bring to help answer that need in a word? All right, so that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. Next, why are you here? In answering this question, you're going to know exactly why you're here as an individual, why you're in the life of your spouse, and why you're together. All right, so here's how we do that. First, you take the need and the answer that you bring. So those two words. So for me, that's purpose and revelation. For Shelly, it's joy and protection. For us, it's transformation and wisdom. What is it for you? Take those two words, need and the answer, those two words. Then what we want to do is we want to answer this question, why are you here? And we're going to answer it in, let me just grab this, in 3 to 7 words. So we're going to build a statement that says that clearly defines why you're here in 3 to 7 words, both as an individual and as a couple. So I'll go back here just to share these examples. Purpose plus revelation. When I brought those two together into a 3 to 7 word statement, because you want to start this as an individual with the word I, as a couple with the word we. Okay, so as I brought those two words together into a 3 to 7 word statement, this is what I came up with. This is what I uncovered. I help reveal your purpose, which is exactly what I'm doing now, helping you reveal your purpose. So as you can see, revelation became the verb, reveal, and purpose. So the key is you want to get this to 3 to 7 words, and one or both of your words, the need and the answer, is going to end up in your answer. Okay? One or both. So as you can see, revelation became reveal, purpose was in there. So my 2 words made it in there in one form or another. Okay? Again, you want to start the statement with I when you're talking about yourself, and we when you're standing as a couple. So we as a couple, transformation plus wisdom. The need, as I shared, is transformation. We bring wisdom as an answer to help meet that need for transformation. And when we brought those 2 words together, we transform you. That's why we're here. That's why we're here as a couple. And everything we do as servant development is an extension of that. We're here to transform you. So as you can see, wisdom didn't make it into our answer. It didn't need to be there because it's built into that statement. You need wisdom in order to be able to transform anyone. So as we step in with that wisdom, we're here to transform you. All right? So one of the key things here is to really understand, well, what is the right verb? That's some of the hardest work to figure out, is what is the right verb? What is the right action? So you can use one of those words potentially as the verb. So test that out, try that out. Again, if you need to confirm your answers, we're here to help you. Next, you want to take out words like by, true, to, through, and with, because that's another part of the conversation that I'm going to share with you later. Right now, we're just going for 3 to 7 words down to its simplest form. You want to get it down to 3 to 7 words. And by, to, through, with, that is another part of the story, and that adds too many words at this point. Okay, great. Next, you want to use words like you instead of people or others. So, I could say I help reveal other people's purposes, right? I could say that. Or my wife could say, so her example, her purpose while she's here is she protects your joy. She could say, I protect people's joy, right? But what that does is when you're engaging with the person, when you're stepping out to actually help meet this need in their life, it needs to be personal. It needs to draw them in. It needs to place you in the present moment. So if I were to say to you, I help reveal people's purposes, that's not personal to you. But if I say I help reveal your purpose, totally different conversation. Now I'm present, I'm with you, you're present, you're with me. Doesn't mean you want my help, doesn't mean you're ready to receive that. But the truth is, when you are, I can help reveal your purpose. Truth is, Shelley can help protect your joy when you want and need your joy protected, right? Very, very different. So you want to use, and sometimes you is implied, right? Sometimes you is implied. So you don't always have to use you or your as an example. But if it makes sense to use that word, to place it in, the present with the person that you're talking to, just use you instead of people or others. All right. So why are you here? Bring the need and the answer together into a 3 to 7 word statement, starting with I in relation to yourself, starting with we in relation to you as a couple. So I recommend you do this as individuals first, each of you, and then come together to understand, well, what is your purpose together? So just walk through each of those 3 steps. What need do you recognize in others in a word? What do you bring to answer that need in others in a word? And why are you here? Do yourselves first, and then do yourselves as a couple. Awesome. Now, here's 2 key questions to confirm whether you've hit on your purpose or not. Okay? Is that what you're supposed to be doing when you're on your game? So is me revealing your purpose, helping reveal your purpose, what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm on my game? Simply yes or no. You'll know it. If the answer is yes, awesome. If the answer is no, just circle back and do it again. Because I want to give you this analogy, actually. As you're bringing those 2 words together, the experience is going to be like you're standing in front of this swamp and you're trying to get to the other side of it. And you have to work your way through that swamp. It's yucky, it's muddy, it's wet, it's cold, it's slimy. You can easily get lost in that. But as you walk yourself across with that question of why am I here or why are we here, you're going to be able to walk yourself across that. So as you get stuck, just simply ask yourself that question. Imagine, a big yellow nylon rope that you're holding on to, and being a man of faith, God is holding on to that rope. Jesus is holding on to that rope, making sure that you get across to know exactly why you're here, so that you can fulfill in the purpose that he's placed in you, that he's created you for. So in that, grab a hold of that rope, ask yourself as you get stuck, ask yourselves as you get stuck, why am I here? Why are we here? And just take the next step. Bring those 2 words together into a 3 to 7 word statement. Again, if you need some help, we can help confirm your answers with you. Okay. We've been doing this for 19, 20 years. We have successfully gotten every single person across that swamp that we've worked with. Okay. So is that statement, here's a key question. Look at that statement, that purpose statement. Is that what you're supposed to be doing when you're on your game? Yes or no? If yes, then ask this question. Does it answer the need? Does you actually fulfilling that purpose answer the need that you said that you recognize in others? So for me, does me helping reveal your purpose actually answer your need for purpose? Yes, it does. Does my wife protecting your joy actually answer your need for joy? Yes, it does. Okay. And then lastly, if you're a person of faith, I encourage you to take a look at this next question is, can you think of an example in the Bible where God actually does this for someone? Does God actually reveal others' purposes, people's purposes? Absolutely he does. Does he actually protect our joy? Absolutely he does. And there's many examples of that. So if you're a person of faith, that's another question that you can use to confirm whether you've hit on it or not. Awesome. So here's the key thing in this. No 2 are the same. No 2 purposes are the same. Out of the thousands of people, that have gone through this work and the hundreds and hundreds that we've personally worked with, no one has ever said the same thing twice. Ever. You are created for a very specific purpose in a very specific time. All right. So know that this purpose no one else has. So if you want to make sure that it's right, please reach out, because we can be a sounding board. We've led this conversation many, many times. We've served many people as they've walked through this. And we'd love to help you too if you get stuck. If you need to confirm your answers, we're here. Okay. Awesome. So that's the simple process to really understand, well, why are we together? And once you understand why you're together, that me-we trap starts to grab you less and less and less. It starts to hold you less and less and less so that you can get to this place of us. Every single time Shelley and I step out to serve, we come from this place of we transform you. If we're not standing in that place, we can easily get caught in the me-we trap. But as we stand and we're here to transform you, we move into this place of us. We include others because we need others in that process. We need the wisdom and we need all of those things to be able to actually transform you. It's truly amazing. So it'll be the same process for you, and know that no two purposes have ever been the same. And I trust that that's going to be the reality for the rest of our lives. I'm looking forward to looking back on my deathbed and go, wow, absolutely amazing, Father. God, you have made each of us fearfully and uniquely to be able to fulfill on the purpose that you have created us for your plans and your purposes in that. Awesome. So here's the next piece. There is a life cycle to purpose that you're going to go through. So I want to quickly share that as we go through this. Here is the life cycle of fulfilling your purpose. There's 5 stages, okay? So here's the first stage. Once you understand why you're here, you're going to hit this stage first out of the gate. But I won't be able to do it. I won't be able to do this. We won't be able to do this, because what you're going to realize is your purpose statement is very bold. It's bold because it comes from God. It's planted in us. It comes from God. It's going to be bold. And we can't actually fulfill our purpose without him. Truth be told, we can't, because he gives us everything that we need to be able to fulfill in it. So there's legitimate places where we can go, yeah, I won't be able to do that because we haven't surrendered our lives to him. We haven't come to him, in that humility and that vulnerability to go, okay, I can't do this without you. So there's going to be places where we legitimately say we won't be able to do this, or I won't be able to do this. Once you move from that, we immediately are hit with, okay, but I can't do this. I won't be able to do this. And then you come to this place of, but maybe I can. But then you step out and you get hit, or, you fail and you're like, all right, I can't, so I won't. And we jump back to the beginning and you just stop and you get stuck and your, relationship starts to grind simply because you're not stepping forward, you're stepping back. You're stepping back into me. So as you can see, I won't is focused on me. And as we move to we at the bottom of that circle, because this overlays, the thrivability model overlays on top of this, we come across, I can't do this. I can't give this up about myself. And we jump back to I won't, or we can't give this up. Maybe you have to in order to fulfill your purpose, right? Then we get to this place of I can, or we can. We can actually do this, right? We realize, oh, we do have what we need to be able to do this. And we can do this together. That's you standing in we, right? That's where most people stay. Because some people just, and I've fallen victim to it. We've fallen victim to it to go, okay, we can do that. We can, but we don't have to, because somebody else will do it. But here's the truth. If you don't, no one else will. Because you're here for a very specific purpose. If you don't fulfill that purpose, no one else will. So you can, and you need to, because there are people out there that need your help. You, as a couple, you need each other. And as a couple, other people need you in their life because you help meet that very specific need for them, right? So you can, and you need to. So as you move beyond that, then you come to I will, or we will. Okay, we will. Okay, I will do this. We make that commitment and we step out. And then eventually we come to this place and we realize, wow, we're actually doing this. I am actually fulfilling my purpose. I am actually meeting this need in this person's life. I am actually helping others reveal their purpose. My wife actually is helping others protect their joy. We actually are helping transform you. That's an amazing place. That's you standing in us. Because us as a couple, us meaning it's you and I, we're working together, that's us. Right? We're in that time together, working together, getting real needs met in each other's life. That's I am, we are. And the amazing thing that happens here is that as you continue to stand in us, as you continue to stand in I am and we are, you continue to move around this cycle because it's cyclical. And you realize, I won't be able to do this anymore. We won't be able to do this anymore if we're going to continue to fulfill our purpose. And you let that go. We can't do this, or I can't keep doing this because it's getting in my way. It's getting in our way. So you let it go. And you move into I can, I will, and I am. And it's cyclical. And you get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. This is two people coming together in one flesh. Because you rid yourself of everything that you don't need to do, everything that you think you should, or everything that people say that you should. You get to lose those things, remove those things for the very reason that you're here. So it makes complete sense that in those hard things that are close to us that we think that are us, our identities, we get to take a look at those things and go, this isn't really working. This isn't really who I am. This isn't really who we are. We can let that go. And in that, start to move together towards us more on a consistent basis and actually stand in us and let go of all of those things. Pretty cool, right? Again, remember that doubt is the enemy here. Doubt is the enemy. He wants you to stay in this place of I won't. If you're finding yourself saying I won't be able to, that's doubt. He's winning ground in your life. He's winning ground in your marriage. Don't let him. All right? And you don't need arrogance to step out of I won't to I can't to I can, I will, and I am. Arrogance isn't the key. It's simply just stepping forward to serve the person standing in front of you that has the need that you recognize. That's what's going to move you forward. You don't need to doubt about that. You recognize the need. They may not want your help, but that doesn't devalue you. That doesn't diminish the fact that you see that need in them. So you can just live into their life. It maybe sometimes in very minute ways, but there will be an opportunity there. It requires patience. Doesn't mean you need to stand in I won't. Okay? You can stand in I am. It just means that person is just not ready to do that work yet. Because as you know, as you uncover that need, it takes work. It takes work to answer your need for purpose, your need for joy, your need for transformation, whatever that need is, for wisdom, for understanding, for compassion. Those things take time. Those things require work. Not everybody is ready and willing to do that work yet that you're going to encounter. Okay? Awesome. Last thing I want to share with you is this. I want to help you uncover the opportunities that you have so that you can know exactly where you're meant to serve and where you're meant to not serve, just as I should. So really, really simply, opportunities are where you are needed and wanted. So there's people in your life that need you, but don't want you. And there's people in your life that want you, but don't need you. In each of those places, those are distractions. Those are not your opportunities. Your opportunities are everywhere you're needed and wanted. So think about your marriage. There's places and times when you don't need or want each other, right? That's legitimate. You don't need or want each other's help. For whatever reason, you don't. You don't want to do that work yet. You don't want to look at that thing yet. You don't want to work on that thing yet, whatever it is. That's okay. And we need to respect that about each other. Doesn't mean we stop there. There will always be an opportunity, though, even in a really small way, as I shared, where you are needed and wanted in each other's life. Step in there. Step in there to help meet the need in the way that you can meet the need in that moment, wherever each other is at. It's really that simple. That's not easy, right? It's not easy, but it really is that simple. That's how you move from me to we and into us and stay in us, is in that place of where do I have opportunity right now to help you with the need that I know that you have? This is the other key thing in that. I recognize that this rocked my world. When Shelley and I when this was all starting to be revealed to us, as we were praying about it, and as this whole framework and the frameworks that we teach were being revealed to us, um, when I asked Shelley this question of, what need do you recognize in others? And she said, joy. I realized in that moment, I had such a deep need for joy that I didn't even know that I had. And I realized how amazing God was that he gave me a wife that I get to walk with every single day. And we work together every single day. That he gave me a wife to help meet that core need that I had, that he loved me that much to do that. That rocked my world. And I imagine it's going to be the same for you. It's pretty cool. So the opportunities are where you're needed and wanted. And there will always be, even if it's just a small area where you can step in. It may not be everything. It may not be all that you want for them, but that's okay because it's incremental steps a lot of times, right? But you're moving forward with each other, becoming more and more of one flesh together, right? Awesome. So here's the next piece in this about opportunities. There's good opportunities, there's great opportunities, and there's right opportunities. So good isn't always great. Great isn't right, but right is always good and great. So the challenge and the goal is to always step into the right opportunities. Good is actually a distraction of great. Great is a distraction of right, and right, good and great are distractions of right. So there are marriages that are good, but weigh that against marriages that are right. There are marriages that are great, but weigh that against a marriage that's right. When you look at that marriage and go, wow, that is so right. They're so right for each other. That takes work to get there. That takes the diligence, the courage to challenge yourself to step into us, to step into those places where you're actually meeting the need that you're here to meet in their life in the way that they need and want it at that moment. That takes patience, that takes humility, vulnerability, all of those amazing things. So the goal is to step into right. Do we always hit it? Absolutely not. But I want to challenge you as we challenge ourselves and as we challenge all those that, we work with, step into right. There's less right places, which makes life so much simpler because good and great, there's lots of those and you can easily get distracted, but still feel there's something missing. There's something missing because simply what happened is that we need to compromise who we are to step into good and great, and we don't need to compromise to step into right. If you're stepping into something that's right for you, the right timing, the right place, as a couple, as individuals, that's right. There's no compromise in that. There's no complying or conforming in that. It's just right. But funnily enough, in good and great, we actually have to conform, we have to comply, and we have to compromise who we are and who we are as a couple to actually step into those. Just consider that. Take a look at the relationships you have. Take a look at, the opportunities that you have as individuals and as a couple. Are they right? Here's how you can tell. You won't need to compromise who you are to any level. That's right. Okay. So in that, you have one purpose, not many. You have one purpose that's been with you since you were born, that's been with you since you came together. One purpose, many opportunities, because there's good and great, but very specific callings, which are your right opportunities. There's places where you're called into each other's life, into the lives of others, and into the lives of others as a couple. There's places where you are called to go. Those are right opportunities. All right. That's how you differentiate between just any opportunity and a calling. Calling is going to be a right opportunity where you don't have to compromise on who you are, both as an individual and as a couple. So here's the call. Be where you're needed and wanted, uncompromised. Okay? Be where you're needed and wanted, uncompromised. That's going to place you in the right places. Awesome. So as I promised, I wanted to share this last piece with you. And now that you know why you're here, you have the mechanism, you have the framework to figure out, okay, why am I here? Why are we here together? Why has God brought us together? Fulfill your purpose is the next larger conversation. Now that you know why you're here, how do you actually fulfill on that purpose? And again, this is part of the whole purpose framework, the marriage framework that fits within that. So there's 8 key steps. The first of which we did together in this live stream. Clarify your purpose. Okay, you now have the tools to be able to do that. And again, if you need some help, please reach out. Okay, we can help confirm those answers for you. Next, you want to do is figure out, okay, well, you want to discern the vision. Once you know why you're here, well, where does that actually bring the other person to? As you step into their life and serve them and help meet that need in their life, that brings them out of a certain place and into another place. That's what the vision has to articulate. And without that, marriages fail, relationships fail. They fail because we don't have that clear vision of where are we actually moving out of, where are we stuck, and where are we moving out of, and where do we come together? Where do we gather together? We need language to help each other understand, okay, if I let you into my life, if I let you help me with this need, where's that going to bring me to? That's what the vision is there to articulate. Next, there's a dream that you're being invited into, both as an individual and as a couple, and you're inviting others into that dream as well. And that dream is the gift that you get when you allow someone else to help meet that need in your life. Okay, you need language for that because we as people need to know, well, what am I going to get at the end of this? Okay, very simple process, very simple questions, just like we walk through with profound answers as we walk through that conversation together. Then you need to determine your mission. Your mission is actually how you go about fulfilling your purpose, both as an individual and as a couple. You need clear language to help me understand and help those that you're serving understand, well, what are the steps I'm going to take to actually get that need answered in my life? Because if I don't know what those steps are, I can't fully commit. And if you don't know what those steps are, you could lead somebody astray. You could lead them into a distraction. You could be a distraction for somebody. You could be a good or a great opportunity and not be the right opportunity for them. And that's going to be a waste of your time and a waste of their time, because at some point you're going to be not needed and or wanted. Okay. I don't want you to be in that place. So your mission and all of these pieces help you understand, well, when do I actually step in and what am I actually supposed to be doing as I'm fulfilling my purpose in their life? That's what your mission describes. Next, you got to know your battle. This is a battle. There's a battle in which we find ourselves to get that need met in each other's life. Because there's things that we're going to oppose. There's things that come against us. Doubt's going to come against us. You got to know your battle. What are the things that help you actually fulfill your purpose? And what are the things that are getting in your way, both as an individual, as a couple? Very, very, very key. Then you need to understand your battle plan. What have you actually been given to be able to fulfill your purpose with? These are all the what's. These are the what's that you've been given so that you can actually take a look at those. We walk through this together. Take a look at all those things and go, what's actually helping me? What's hindering me? What do I need to actually be able to fulfill on my purpose and win in this battle and conquer land that's been taken from us as couples, as individuals? Awesome. Next step is really confirm who you are. Who are you? Because who you are is because of why you're here. So now that we walk through these other steps, now you can take a look at it and go, who am I really? Who are we really? And how can we actually step into that to use that information to be able to fulfill on our purpose and not get distracted and not have to compromise on who we are anywhere we are? And then lastly, how do you step out and serve? How do you serve together? How do you serve your purpose and serve from your purpose so that you can make sure that you are standing in us all the time and getting rid of things that you won't need, that you can't do anymore, so that you can, you will, and you are fulfilling your purpose together and as individuals and supporting one another as you do that. Awesome. So here's the things to remember. Your purpose is a why, not a what. What you do has to align with why you're here, or you're definitely going to be devalued. You're definitely going to miss the mark. So if there's things that are grinding, check that first. Is what you're doing actually helping you fulfill your purpose, or is it getting in the way? Because your purpose is a why, not a what. Next, You meet one need that shows up in many different ways. Don't get distracted. Don't doubt. You meet one need that shows up in many different ways. As you uncover that need, you're going to see all the different ways that it actually starts to show up. And why is that? Because each of us are different. We all demonstrate that need in different ways. But the truth is, it's the exact same need. And you're going to see that on more and more levels in subtle ways. I'm amazed. I'll be interacting with somebody and I'll be like, wow, they need purpose. And I never saw it demonstrated like that before. I never saw it in that person before. That's why they're so frustrated. That's why they're so stuck. I can help them if they want to help. It's going to be the same for you. You're going to see all those subtle nuances of how the need shows up, and you're going to start to trust more and more. It's the same need. It's just showing up in different ways. And that alleviates so much pressure and so much emotional baggage that we think we have to meet all these needs in everybody. We don't. Because when we do, we're actually stepping on somebody else's toes, right? We're stepping on somebody else's toes. We're stealing those opportunities from them to be able to help that person. Okay? That's never going to bode well. Lastly, who you are is because of why you're here. I've hit on that a lot. Who you are is because of why you're here. Once you understand why you're here, then you can start to analyze and break down, okay, well, who am I? Who are we? How do we need to be in order to fulfill our purpose? And you'll start to see that all those things that you don't need to be start to fall away. That's that cycle of those 5 stages. I won't, I can't, I can, I am, and I will. Same with we. Awesome. So here's my final challenge. Are you willing to lay down who you are? Because once you are, then you can actually clarify who you really are. There's going to be things that stay, things that you know that are true about you. And there's going to be lots of things that you don't need to be because they're actually getting in your way. But it takes that commitment to go, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to take a look at who I am being and understand why I'm here, and then be able to assess what I need to do, where I need to go, who I need to be. It takes laying down who you are to be able to have that conversation and dig into it. But if you do, I promise you will get the transformation you need to fulfill your purpose and be able to serve together as a couple. I promise. I've seen it happen so many times over the last 19 years. All right. So again, if you want to confirm your answers, here's how you can do that. Simply just go to servant.tools/confirm. There you can book some time with Shelly and I. We'll walk you through this. $97 for, usually it takes about an hour. We can do both of you within that time. But yeah, just $97 for that hour, for that session. If it takes a little bit longer, that's okay. We're here to make sure that your answers get confirmed, because we want to make sure that you know your purpose and that you know your purpose together. Okay. So servant.tools/confirm. We're here to help you. And we look forward to chatting with you to confirm your answers together and get you stepping out so you can fulfill and serve together and fulfill your purpose. All right. That's all I wanted to share with you today. Thanks so much. And I look forward to chatting with you as you want to dig into this. All right. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.